Picture a commercial airliner cruising through a pitch-black sky, completely surrounded by dense storm clouds. For over 50 years, the FBI has hunted for a single man who stepped onto a flight in 1971. Despite thousands of interviews and massive search operations, this remains the only unsolved air piracy case in American history. It starts on November 24, 1971. A calm, well-dressed man walks up to a counter and pays cash for a one-way ticket to Seattle. He gives his name as Dan Cooper. Shortly after takeoff, Cooper passes a note to the flight attendant. He leans in and tells her to look at it closely. He opens his briefcase just enough to reveal wires, a battery, and red cylinders. His demands are highly specific: $200,000 in cash and 4 parachutes, 2 primary and 2 reserve. Air traffic control and the FBI are immediately alerted. With 36 passengers trapped in the sky, the airline agrees to pay. The government is forced into total compliance with a man they know absolutely nothing about. The plane touches down in Seattle. Cooper releases the passengers, methodically counts the 20-pound bag of cash, inspects his parachutes, and orders the crew to take off again. The flight heads south. At exactly 8:13 p.m., a warning light flashes in the cockpit. The aft air stairs at the rear of the plane have been deployed. Cooper stepped off the edge of those stairs and plunged into a rainstorm at 10,000 feet. He fell into a near-freezing, pitch-black void. The FBI quickly launched Operation Norjack. Military units combed thousands of square miles of dense forest. Ground teams scoured the wilderness, and dive teams dredged rivers. They found no parachute, no body, and no trace of the hijacker. What began as a procedural extortion case stalled immediately because the perpetrator physically vanished from the map. Since the man himself disappeared, investigators had to build a profile using the exact instructions he gave the pilot. This chart compares flight paths. Cooper mandated staying below 10,000 feet with the landing gear deployed. He also demanded a 150-knot maximum speed. At normal speeds, jumping causes fail wind resistance. He knew exactly how slow to go. Even his choice of aircraft was calculated. The Boeing 727 featured stairs directly under the tail, allowing a jumper to avoid hitting the horizontal stabilizers. These specific parameters rule out a lucky amateur. Whoever Dan Cooper was, he possessed a highly calculated understanding of aviation mechanics and aerodynamics. Before jumping, Cooper left behind a single piece of clothing resting on seat 18C, a dark clip-on tie. It sat in an evidence locker for decades, until advancements in forensic science finally allowed the FBI to extract a partial DNA profile from the fabric. In 2011, a woman named Marla Cooper presented a compelling story. She recalled her uncle, Lynn Doyle Cooper, returning home the morning after the hijacking, battered, muddy, and bleeding. Investigators tested the DNA from the tie against a sample provided from her uncle. The results came back entirely inconclusive. The most sophisticated forensic technology available couldn't provide a match. Instead of closing the net around a suspect, the physical evidence only confirmed how little investigators actually had. 9 years pass. In February 1980, an 8-year-old boy is digging in the sandbanks of the Columbia River. He uncovers 3 bundles of highly decomposed $20 bills, totaling $5,800. Before handing over the ransom, the FBI had photographed every single bill. When they checked these rotting notes, the serial numbers matched Cooper's payload exactly. But the state of the cash was baffling. The bills were still tightly bound in the exact same rubber bands the bank had used in 1971. This creates a direct paradox. If Cooper survived, there is no logical reason he'd bury a fraction of his payout in its original bundles. But if the freezing rain and the fall killed him, the remaining $194,200 is still completely missing. The FBI's official position maintained that surviving the drop was physically impossible. The dense forest and freezing November rain would have overwhelmed even a highly trained paratrooper. Yet, just 5 months later, a man named Richard Floyd McCoy hijacked a passenger jet using almost the exact same demands and methods. McCoy bailed out of the rear stairs of a jet over Utah, carrying $500,000, and he survived the jump. He was later caught, proving the physical act of the escape was entirely possible. McCoy's survival shows that Cooper's demands weren't suicidal. They formed a functional, tested blueprint for escaping a commercial aircraft mid-flight. After 45 years of chasing leads, extracting DNA, and digging up riverbanks, the FBI officially suspended the active investigation in 2016. No definitive physical remains have ever been found, and aside from the bundles pulled from the Columbia River, the vast majority of the serial-numbered cash has never entered circulation. A single, unidentified man managed to extort $200,000 from the United States government, stepped into a storm, and simply ceased to exist. D.B. Cooper became a permanent fixture in American history, not because of what he left behind, but because the absolute absence of evidence guarantees his case can never be closed.